John.
Yeah, hello, Lee.
Scott Pilgrim.
Yes, Scott Pilgrim. Finally.
Yes, we're
Finally got round to
finally
it.
getting around to talking about it.
Several months later.
Yep.
But yes, I've seen it for the first time.
Yeah.
I've seen it twice, actually, now.
Which I'm surprised, because it's an Edgar Wright film, I thought.
Well, I mean, Edgar Wright's an interesting one, because I quite like him as a filmmaker. I think he's one of the more creative directors working today.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, the first film I saw of his was
Baby Driver.
Baby Driver. Yeah,
Really?
I went to the cinemas to see Baby Driver.
Did we see it together? Or?
I think we did. Yeah, I think it was me, you, and Tom. I think, and I think Jake was there as well.
Jack.
Wasn't he? Oh, it was Jack. It was Jack. Yeah, Jack. And I absolutely loved Baby Driver. I thought Baby Driver was absolutely fantastic.
Perfect editing.
The editing was superb, and
editing's
I think
something to dream to.
I know, and that's something that he's, I think, consistently quite
Really
good
at. Yeah.
Although I will say, after I think it was last year or the year before, I watched Hot
Fuzz.
Hot Fuzz
Love Hot Fuzz.
and Shaun of the Dead
Yeah.
for the first time. I really enjoyed those movies. I thought they were absolutely fantastic.
Hot Fuzz might be one of my most favourite films of all time.
Hot Fuzz is really good, and it's a good example of how to make like a really unique, low budget, well, comparatively low budget, horror comedy, and also like just action comedies as well.
Yeah.
I like horror comedy for Shaun of the Dead, obviously,
Yeah.
but I like action comedy as well, which have like legitimate heart and some really well written. Although I will say, after seeing a lot of student films, Edgar Wright has so much to answer for.
Yes, definitely.
Like, oh my god, like, holy shit. Like, he is...
I think a lot of people saw Edgar Wright and I want to do that.
Yeah, like, there's so many people who saw Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz and thought, I'm going to do that. And I thought... And it's like, when you see them, it's like, oh, for fuck's sake. Because you watch, like... Because, like, all these, like, these young, like, men who, like, want to make, like... Who are student filmmakers, they all want to do, like, when they do comedy films, like, action comedies... They all just want to make Edgar Wright films.
Yeah.
And so all of them are doing the quick snap cut, like montagey thing that he does in both of those films in the Cornetto trilogy. It's all snappy, witty dialogue, like all cut on a beat, and it's like, yeah, great, but we've now done that. It's Edgar Wright's thing, you know, and like they all want to do that, and it's like he's kind of become the Tarantino of his generation, in a sense that he's like revered by every film student under the sun.
Yeah.
And they all want to copy his style. And then he becomes like subject, like in years to come, he'll become subject of scrutiny for whatever reason. So I've seen Baby Driver, seen Shaun of the Dead, and I've seen Hot Fuzz. I've seen snippets of At World's End.
Yeah.
Or The World's End or whatever it is. Because I keep getting confused with the Pirates of the Caribbean film, which is At World's End.
Yeah.
But this is just World's End, isn't it?
But The World's End came out at the same time as This Is the End. That had all the...
Oh, really?
Yeah,
all the end films?
Yeah.
Amazing. Brilliant. So I've not seen them. And I've not seen Last Night in Soho.
I still haven't seen that yet.
No. I've heard mixed feelings about that one. People that I know personally have seen Last Night in Soho, and they've said that they weren't expecting it to be as horror centric as it was, which turned some people off. Yeah, I'll have to really plunge into that one and then see what I think about it, because it looks really interesting.
Yeah, I was meaning to see it in the cinema, but you know me.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, and now I've seen Scott Pilgrim versus the World, which is one of his more popular films, I think. Would you say? Or do you think it's one of his more slept on?
Cornetto trilogy is maybe more popular, but I think this is more popular with nerds. This is like a big nerdy film, and unironically has a lot of people who think, "Oh, this is me," but it's like you shouldn't be thinking that. It's like a Rick and Morty thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because my very first note in my thing says Scott Pilgrim is a bit of a dick.
Oh, he's an asshole.
Absolute dick.
He's not a good guy at all.
Never.
Like this is one of the things that sort of like struck me at the this is the interesting thing about Scott Pilgrim versus the World which is why I felt a bit strange about it, because on one hand, I think it is a very entertaining, very well edited, very well constructed action comedy.
Yeah.
Which is constructed really well from a writing standpoint in terms of its characters, in terms of like their personalities and stuff. I think they're all really well defined. Kieran Culkin steals this movie.
Oh yeah,
he is the best character. I loved every moment he was on screen. And I think...
And it's the second film of watching the series that you've seen him in.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Yeah.
Follow, go PC on the Pepsi.
and he was just glorious in this movie.
Oh yeah,
he was absolutely fantastic.
Wallace Wells, a gay roommate, is the best.
Yeah, he was absolutely wonderful. He was brilliant. So was that. I love that.
The casting is spot on.
The casting spot on, absolutely. Its visual style is great.
Yeah.
It does the whole live action video game thing really well, and I liked that the film isn't, well, I don't know if self-aware is the right word, but it's like, but it never acknowledges it. It's like, this is just the world that
this is Canada.
This is Canada. Yeah, exactly.
This is how Canada works.
This is what Canada's like. It's a real world video game. No one is referring to it at all. It's just it is what it is.
Yeah.
And I loved the musical standpoint from it as well.
Oh yeah, the music again. Edgar Wright. You've seen Baby Driver. You know how
he can tell this guy loves music. Again, the shared thing with Tarantino. It's like, you know, the shared like love of music, and he knows how to.
And half of the songs are written for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I really loved. I loved the whole Battle of the Bands thing.
Yeah. I thought that would speak to you a bit.
Oh yeah, I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought the garage rock style of it was great. From those points of view, I really liked it. On the other hand, it's quite a badly written romance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's under the veil of being a romance film, but it's not really a romance.
What I mean by that is, I'll clarify what I mean. I think it makes, so that key point that you made there, that Scott Pilgrim is a
dick.
He's a dick. This guy is,
he's a horrible person.
He's not a great guy. He's selfish. He sees women as like trophies to attain.
Yeah.
You know, he's a bit of a hopeless romantic, which is what we've established. Which you see in films like 500 Days of Summer.
Yeah.
Which I'm assuming you've seen.
No, I haven't.
Good movie. I would give it a go. 500 Days of Summer, which does this better.
Yeah.
I would argue. When I'll explain that in a bit. Oh, there's a cat behind me.
Yep.
Hello. Hello, Ozzy. And this poor girl that he ends up going out with at the beginning, Knives.
Poor Knives.
Poor Knives. I mean, it's the whole. I mean, yes, there is constant ridicule throughout the film. It's a sticking joke point that he's going out. He's a 22-year-old guy going out with a 17-year-old.
Yeah.
Okay, fine, sure. You know, not great on paper.
Yeah.
But
Oscar man.
She does nothing but support him. Worships the ground he walks on. You know, she's full on, and she's eccentric and happy and stuff like that. And some people would argue unbearable, but she's lovely. She's absolutely lovely. And Lee is doing Lee just did this incredible like zombie ninja move there just to get the cat away, and he's come back up.
And I whacked the mic as I came back.
Yeah. Subtle. But
my middle name.
But then he meets the girl of his dreams.
Yeah.
Ramona, and those two have no chemistry whatsoever. Because she's like the archetype character of the manic pixie dream girl.
Yeah.
Which was coined several years ago, and it's like she's purposely written that way, I think, to sort of like critique like those guys like Scott Pilgrim
who have like a perfect vision of a girl.
Who have a perfect vision of these women, to the point where we don't know anything about her. We don't know like what her hopes and desires are. We don't know any of her character motivations whatsoever. I mean, she kind of seems to care about Scott, I guess, in some way, but nothing more beyond that. And it's like, you know, why does she change the color of her hair? She says like, oh, it's just something I like to do. His initial reaction to that is like, oh, I don't like it, you know. And it's like, because and they try to portray Scott as like this like guy who's been damaged by like previous ex relationships and stuff. It's like, yeah, but no,
he's just needy.
He's just a needy, whiny guy who, when his perfect vision of this object, let's be honest, isn't what he wants it to be, he throws a hissy fit. And it's like, you know, she, and this is not a nice relationship. It's a toxic relationship.
Oh God, yeah.
Because like as I said, they have no chemistry with each other. They don't really have anything in common. She has 7 evil exes that he has to destroy in order to win her affection. But bearing in mind that she dumped all of them for seemingly trivial reasons.
Yeah, they're both horrible people.
Yeah, so of course she's gonna dump him like later on. I mean, she says like, "Oh, you're just another evil ex waiting to happen." And it's like, well, you know, even if he was a nice guy, which he isn't, which they always say that he is, and the dog is like
chewing a chew toy. It's squeaky.
If you hear a squeak, this might be the most noisy podcast we've done so far. Bailey,
of all the toys you got, don't give me that look.
Oh, he just turned and gave you the evilest of looks.
Look, there's your rabbit.
Yeah, that dog is living the life.
Yep, he's brought in all these toys, and he's surrounded by blankets and toys. He's loving his life right now.
He's loving it right now. And he's got the squeaky one back.
Yeah, we just got the deal right.
We are, yeah. So if you hear a squeaking noise, just be aware that's Bailey having a lovely time.
I'm not fucking editing that. That's gonna be a pain in the arse.
Exactly. Anyway, so excuse me, and there's me coughing as well. Anyway, yeah, they've got like a really bad relationship, and of course, which is why the ending frustrated me the most, because you can have characters like that. You can have... Now, this is where the real problem for me lies, because you can have Scott Pilgrim be a dick. You can have him be a selfish arsehole who doesn't see these girls as people, but rather...
Really, man?
You are determined, aren't you, to disturb this podcast?
He's going to be a disturbing boy today. Bailey, just go get it. He's trucked his toy away, his squeaky toy, and now he's just barking at it because he can't get hold of it.
You lazy dog.
And don't bark at me. This is going to be the dog arguing episode. He's such a noisy boy.
Oh, now he's growling.
Oh, yeah. Shut your face.
Goodness me.
Shut your face, good boy. Right, what were you saying?
I was saying that you can have the characters do that. You can have, you know, these archetypes be there. It's if you do the correct resolution in the end, because what happens in the end is like Scott is meant to go through like a total character arc, like change. He's meant to go through a journey here where he does learn that he is a bit of a dick, and you know that yes, he's cheated on 2 people at the same time, which is a massive dick move. And he meant to learn from those mistakes, take personal responsibility, and then like ultimately become a better person. Now, that kind of happens, but not really.
He dies, he gets another life, and he gets self-respect.
And then all of a sudden he gets self-respect, but it's not earned.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like it just happens.
It's just a realization.
Yeah, the film tells you that Scott has now earned self-respect. But we don't see it. So I don't believe it. I'm like, oh, okay. So
it's because the ending wasn't written yet for the books.
Was that why?
Up until Cheese Thefts in it, Brie Larson, her band.
Yes.
Up until that point, it's pretty much the books are pretty much a storyboard, like to an absolute T.
Yeah.
You could just read them books and be like, that's the storyboard for the film.
Yeah.
Until there, and that's when it changes.
Yeah.
And it gets like. It deviates off, obviously.
Now, that's interesting because for me, that is probably the point where the film started to tail off for me a little bit. And because it loses focus. And it kind of doesn't know what to do. Now, I think that's an excuse to a point. It's like, if it's rushed, that's the thing. It feels rushed and it feels unearned. So they're cramming this ending all together.
Because there's another 3 books to go after that.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah.
And it just like wraps up all of a sudden. We're meant to expect like Gideon, like he feels like unearned as a villain as well. He's just there. Like the concept of the 7 evil X's, I thought was great. Like fighting them all like as individuals, and like they all have that. Like, they only have like minutes of screen time, but they feel like realized characters. You know, you understand the motivation. They all have something unique about them, apart from like the twins, who are just there.
Twins have more in the comics, but that's because of the little.
Yeah. Because I feel like there's like runtime or whatever. I have to like wrap stuff up. But that's the thing. Like, it feels rushed and unearned. And what feels even worse is that he gets Ramona in the end anyway.
Which I don't think happens at the end.
Why would you do that? Why? That doesn't make any sense.
It's been a while since I've read them. Yeah, it's just a kind of Hollywood kind of ending early.
But it makes no sense. Yeah. It's silly. It's like, it's now 500 Days of Summer does it so much better. It's a similar thing.
I'm trying to remember now. So if I'm in the comics, them two split up again.
Yeah.
Scott and Knives get back together for a little bit, and then they split up again. I think at the end, everyone's just kind of like friends, and that's it.
Well, that's how it should be. Really?
I do remember Stephen Stills and Wallace Wells get together.
Oh, good. That's good. That's really good. But that's how it should be. They should have just like wrapped up, just being friends.
I can see the books, but they're hidden behind more books. I'm leaving that.
Oh yes, of course. The return of the big wall of media that Lee consumes. But yeah, like it felt odd. I must admit,
from watching it again for the first time watching it in a few years, story wasn't as good as I remember, especially the last bit. But I think what still draws that film to me is again the editing, the references,
it's
everything else apart from the story is fantastic.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like it's a great movie. Like I thoroughly enjoyed it from that point. Like the characters as individuals are all really well like realized characters. Like even if they don't have like long like for example Anna Kendrick's character.
Yeah, she's
like
in it.
She's
the little sister. She's in it for not much.
No, she's not in it a lot, but the time that she is in there, she makes an impact.
There are a lot of people in this film who went off to do bigger and better stuff. Like
absolutely, yeah. Like Brie Larson, obviously, and Brandon Routh's in it as well.
Captain America.
Yeah, Chris Evans is in it. Yeah, he's fantastic in it.
Yeah,
he's wonderful in it. I was gonna say something. And I liked how well, Brandon Routh, the whole thing about the vegan stuff, I thought that was hilarious. Yeah. And I also really like the guy who lives with them, who just becomes the bass player. Like, his little arc was great. You know, it's like...
Young Neil becomes Neil.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, what do you play? Oh,
Zelda.
It's a big question, yeah.
He just play with his Game Boy, like, yeah, I'm just fucking, yeah.
I'm just, yeah. Yeah, I thought that was great. I thought that was wonderful. And how they're so quick to sell out. And like, yes, let's sign this thing because I want money. I want like an album deal. That was great. But yeah, the ending was my biggest. That was like where it all came to a head because like, we're told now that Scott has self-respect, rather than actually showing it and seeing it, so it feels unearned and rushed. And then at the very end, when Knives is like, let's not go out. I'm too cool for you. I thought, yes, absolutely, Knives. Yes, you are too cool for him. You've got so much more self-respect than that, my love. But then when she goes, go after her.
Yeah.
You've been chasing. Yes, but he shouldn't be going after her. That's the whole point. It's like, that's the whole point of the story is like, we got told now that you have self-respect. So work on yourself. Become a better human being. Get a job or something. Or, you know, work on a passion. Become a better human being. And then you can go and find the love of your life, like in 500 Days of Summer. I know you haven't seen it, but watch it, and you'll understand. You'll understand what I mean. Like 500 Days of Summer is a very similar premise.
Yeah. Totally
different films, but very similar main character premise with Scott Pilgrim and the guy that Joseph Gordon-Levitt plays.
Yes, that's Joseph.
Very similar, but 500 Days of Summer does it right.
Yeah.
That you actually see the character growth and stuff, and it feels earned and it feels right. And even the resolutions with the girl who we had an affection for. Yeah, absolutely, you should watch that. And you'll know what I mean. But Scott Pilgrim, at the end of it, it's like, no, he should not be going off with Ramona because it makes absolutely no sense, and it feels like the whole thing was for nothing then.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the whole point of it was to go, you are an arsehole who's obsessed with a girl who really you don't have any chemistry with. You've had to go through this Herculean task for nothing. But, well, it is for nothing, because he ends up with her at the end when you're meant to learn that, like, oh, I'm a better person than that. I've got personal growth. I've developed personal growth.
It feels like it might have just been like either an audience reaction or like a executive decision, like, needs to get the girl at the end kind of thing. Because I could see that being filmed. I suppose like
maybe, excuse me. I feel like maybe that's what it could have been, but still, I feel like the film would have had more legitimacy if they all just ended up friends at the end.
Yeah.
But all with their heads held high, and they can go on and do better things and be better people. That's what it should have been. That being said, though, like you were saying, from a technical point of view, from a cinematography point of view, from a comedy point of view, it's really good.
From the very start, it has a 16-bit fucking Universal opening.
Yeah, it does.
As soon as I saw that in cinema, I was like, chef's kiss. I'm going to love this film from the start. And then it starts with A Link to the Past thing. The doodle-doodle-doodle-doodle. I was like,
yeah.
Okay, this is my film.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like it's wonderful from that point of view. And I really wish that I'd watched it when we were making Rebel.
Yeah, because the opening is something I think you would have tried to get hold of.
Yeah, absolutely.
The way it just goes from like, oh, what we're doing here, and then it's another scene where like, well, I told you we're going here.
Yeah.
Like it
Oh,
feels very rushed and very like, what?
Yeah.
When you first watch it, but like...
Yeah, but the cuts work. And I also love like the little moments of those random bits of like comedy that come in when like the Seinfeld sequence.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. I love how like it's never referred to. It's like they come in and they go, "Hey, I don't need you again at the place." Oh, the canned laughter coming in and cheering and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, it's Michael Cera, who's such an interesting bloke. Like to look at, you just want to slap him and
perfect casting choice.
Perfect casting though, like, yeah. For the whingy, unlikable, weakling of a human being. You know, it was like he was into that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's that was an interesting thing. So like, are you just saying that you don't know if you've got any of the books?
I've got all the books there. They're just hidden behind books.
All right, okay.
I've got all volumes of Scott Pilgrim. They're just kind of hidden
somewhere. That's fine. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, would you recommend them as books?
Yeah, I mean, let's go for a wander.
Oh my God, guys. Lee is on his feet.
I've got the mic in my hands.
This is the first time this has ever happened.
I'm gonna move your mic slightly. Yep.
My God, we are on the move.
Yes, because I can see the books. There's only a few of them, but just couldn't be asked. So yeah, I've got.
This is so funny. Here. You got the mic next to your hand.
This is the chaotic as fuck, and I love it.
You look like you're doing like a live comedy set or something.
Let's see who's here now.
Yes. Who's with us, ladies and gentlemen?
So yeah, there's the first volume.
Oh, excellent.
He looks like fucking...
He does look like Michael Cera.
Yeah.
Scott Pilgrim's precious little life.
Yeah, they're all Scott Pilgrim is something.
Very
Versus
cool.
the World is... Oh, no, Finest Hour was the last one.
So are these like mangas or are these Western things?
Western. Brian Lee O'Malley's... I think he's Canadian.
Oh, the artwork's great.
Yeah, the artwork, it just looks like the fucking... Like
the artwork's really
If you look at the people, you're like, yeah, that they got the right casting.
Oh, wow. See, I'm literally watching it right now, like reading it right now, and I'm like, this is a literal storyboard.
Yeah.
Of the movie.
Like
which
completely.
Is, like literally, it literally is. And that's interesting when stuff does that. It's, you know, because, I feel like this is like, so I'm going to go on a thing about adaptation now, because it's like when you watch things like this, like Scott Pilgrim, and then see the source material behind it and see that it's like literally a beat for beat of the comic. It's interesting though that it's not, that the comics are in black and white, and how the panels are literally on the screen.
Oh no, it ends the same.
It ends the same?
It ends the same as them going in the door. But a lot of shit happens in between.
Right, well, okay.
I couldn't tell you what happens because it's been a while. But
that's like several books worth, though.
Yes.
Of like character development.
Yeah.
Right? You can't do that in a just under 2 hour film.
Yeah.
You know? It doesn't make any sense. Back. You can't rush it, right?
Oh, look at that waveform when I put the mic back in.
That is, oh wow,
beautiful
that's
waveform.
lovely. But yeah, you can't rush that shit. It's like if you're doing a film, you've got to adapt it to the medium that you're in. It's like you've got to either set up a franchise, right?
Yeah.
Or do a different ending. You know, because it's like it's clear that it's like separated itself enough from like the visual styling and the fact that it's in color, you know, and like doing the whole video game thing. It's like they've done enough work to set it apart from the books.
The second volume is called Versus the World, and there's a whole book called Scott Pilgrim Gets It Together.
Well, there you go.
Which is the second to last one.
So they're literally explaining like the themes in the thing. This dog is determined
Bailey
to, you know,
puppy nozzle.
But yeah, this will be the most entertaining episode of the podcast.
Yeah, this is so chaotic. I love it.
The dogs
this
involved.
This is the new thing.
Lee got up and like just wandered around his room. I didn't know what was going on. It was crazy. But yeah. So you were saying that you'd watched this movie recently and reevaluated what you thought the plot was like.
Yeah, like at first I loved it. I mean, I saw this when I was when it came out, so I would have been
2010.
Oh shit, I would have been 20. So I was at the age of like, oh wow, that's me, unironically.
Yeah.
And looking back on it, it's like, dude.
Yeah.
Because Scott Pilgrim is a fucking Rick and Morty situation where you should not characterize yourself as some characters.
No, absolutely not. And that is the whole thing of like, that was one thing I was thinking as well. Like I googled when like this film was released, and I thought so because this is the most 2010 film I've ever seen. Like the way that people are dressed is just, I was like, oh my god, did we really dress like this? Like as human beings. Lee is engrossed in Scott Pilgrim.
Just have a look there, yeah. It's
in the book.
No, the book must have been released. It must have been while they were doing it, because like there's Gideon's thing at the end where they defeat Gideon, and it's the same stage as...
It's the same thing, yeah.
Yeah. So I think they just couldn't adapt all that.
So they're trying to condense the 6 books
into a film, yeah.
Into a film, which it's not a wise idea, in my opinion.
But he's saying about 2010 film. I don't think you can make this film today. Like, I don't think it works. It's very in its time.
You can't make a film about a character like that. You can't, because
even everything that's in it's kind of its time. I think, like all the hipstery shit and.
Oh yeah, like I mean, if you adapted Scott Pilgrim versus the World today, for a start, people would not be dressed like that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like they would. Like, it's the most if you want someone to describe what 2010. Oh god.
Cats
are surrounding me as well. What 2010 looks like, right? As a society, Scott Pilgrim versus the World is what I would show them, because oh my god, the hairstyles, the clothes, it was like Smosh in its heyday.
Oh,
like
good
just
Lord.
splattered itself on the screen. Like literally, it was like the hairstyles, man.
Yeah,
like it was incredible. Like 2010 is just like on the screen for all to see, and like just the way that they go on and the way that they talk and like the way that they look more than anything, incredible. Genuinely incredible. I thought, what an era! You know, this is what we dressed as. You know, it's crazy, because when you live through these times, and you sort of like look at like society around you and things like that, you don't notice that, because you're always seeing it as like, this is the present. What I'm living through right now is the present.
Yeah.
But you don't ever notice the changes, really, unless they're like really egregious changes. You don't notice that shit until you look in the past, you know, and look at like how different time was. Like right now compared to say 2010. Like, oh my god, like 2009, 2010, like that is what people looked like, and it was mental. Absolutely mental, you know?
2010 is when I ended my weeb phase.
Yeah.
I was late bloomer to shit, and I became a complete weeb at like 2010.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I was aware of like weeb culture, like
you would have hated me.
Yeah, oh mate, honestly, I probably would have like.
Yeah,
you know,
I hated me.
Yeah,
looking back at it.
It's an interesting one though, because like when you look at stuff like that, and when I was saying there, like I feel like that was like the heyday for like plots like that, like sort of like the hopeless romantic teen like plot movie, where they idolize like characters like this. But now it's very I feel like it's very on trend for people to sort of like pick apart like movies like this in terms of like the plot.
Well, it's like I would have said that probably the thing that's came closest lately is in terms of references and shit like that, is probably Ready Player One.
Ready Player One, yeah. I feel like that's the thing. I think I saw somewhere that like people were saying like, oh, Ready Player One. There's another video game movie as well, like one's is similar to Scott Pilgrim.
I think.
But like they're saying like this is the one that does it the best. Like Scott Pilgrim like does it better than all of them. And I haven't really seen its visual style like sort of replicated anywhere really.
No one's ever done that kind of like. It's got like the fucking manga lines, like the whole like speed lines and stuff like that.
The closest
probably out of Japan. There's probably a lot of Japanese live action stuff which do shit like that.
Probably, yeah. I mean, the closest thing I can think of, even though I know that it came out a few years before Scott Pilgrim, which was Speed Racer.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Again, the Wachowskis, they did like the Matrix, which was heavily inspired by anime.
Yes.
Like
that's true.
There's so many like scenes that have kind of like just took from Ghost in the Shell and stuff like that in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm talking about good Ghost in the Shell, not.
Yeah. But that's what I mean. Like, I don't think you could do like a film like this today in terms of like it's like the romance element of it, because I feel like there'd be a lot of backlash against like, oh, this is what like arsehole men are like, and unless they go through like proper character changes, like then I don't think people would be. I mean, because like this, I mean, like where the character like these changes are totally unwarranted. And yet he is still rewarded at the end with the girl of his dreams, despite all of his massive flaws. And then all of a sudden he doesn't seem to actually learn anything. We're told that he's learned self-respect, even though it's totally unwarranted. And he's still the hero, and he still gets the girl at the end. Today that would not fly. That would not fly at all. But if it was done properly, if it was like a proper, like if this was a franchise, like if this was like a saga,
a 6 hour long, a 1 hour project.
then maybe it would like feel warranted, because I if there's 6 books worth of this, and if the 6th book is the ending that you see in the film where like he is rewarded with Ramona still, but it must feel warranted, like through a 6-book arc, it must do. But that's my main criticism of Scott Pilgrim, really. Everything else I think is an absolute triumph.
I must admit, I don't think you could ever do this as a remake, because I don't think you get a cast that's just. Every time I watch it, I'm like, the cast is just amazing. How much they look like them.
Yeah, which is great, you know, which is absolutely fantastic. You know, I love like dedicated like adaptations and stuff like that. It's like you know. That's one of my favorite things. I think adaptation in film is. So I know there's some people who hate the notion about adaptation.
Half and half, depends what it is. Sometimes it'd be like, what the fuck, like Disney, they're doing something to keep the license, really.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, speaking of, I heard a thing today.
Yeah.
So you know how Winnie the Pooh's in public domain now?
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Winnie the Pooh with his red shirt is not public domain, but Winnie the Pooh is in just the yellow bear.
Oh, the original, like the book of Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's in public domain now. Someone's making a horror film.
Of course they are.
First thing you do,
make a horror film with Pooh Bear.
Yeah.
Of course you are. But that's the thing to do now, isn't it? Like take all these fairy tales.
Yeah,
and make them the. Well, I mean, to be fair, a lot of them were
fucked up in the start.
Original
Disney whitewashed them basically.
Yeah, and made them cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, bloody like Pinocchio, for example, like that is a horrible story. Like originally, like it's not a like it's the proper like horror stories designed to warn children.
Yeah.
This is what will happen to you if you're not good, you know, and it's really fucked up. But like. It's so to do something like that where we're gonna make like Winnie the Pooh into a horror movie. I'm not surprised, but I'm not sure that Winnie the Pooh was designed with that original intent.
No, I absolutely adore Winnie the Pooh. Every time I see him, I just smile.
Yeah, he's lovely. Like he's a lovely little fella, isn't he? You know, with Tigger and the rabbit and the rest of them, you know, and all that. Like
the depressive donkey.
The depressed Eeyore, the depressed donkey. Love that. Can't wait to see how they portray him. But you know, it's probably like Animal Farm or something like that, like something really dark. But yeah, like that's really interesting when you do adaptations like that, because I'm like I said before, like I'm not a purist when it comes to doing direct adaptations of books to films. Like if it's something that's so beat for beat exactly the same as the book, then great, you can see a visualization of it. But if you do something interesting with it, then that's what I like. Like if it deviates from the if it deviates from the plot, fine, but you've got to justify it.
Yeah,
you've got to justify it, because at the end of the day, it's like films and books are totally different mediums.
Yeah,
you know, and you've got to do different things with them. You know, it's like you know, but if you do it in a way that like sheds new light on the original work, and showcases its themes in a different way, then great. You're just adding to the mythology of the work, which I think is great. And it's unfortunate, I think, that to tie it back to Scott Pilgrim, that it doesn't take. I mean, it doesn't take its time. I mean, like, if Edgar Wright got told, right, this will not be a franchise, this will be a one and done thing, you've got to sort of cram the 6 books into one.
Yeah.
Fine, but take a bit more care, you know. I mean, that's an interesting question. I mean, where do you think it ranks in Edgar Wright's pantheon of movies?
From what I've seen, I don't know. I think Hot Fuzz is always top for me.
Yeah.
This has always been a thing. Then Baby Driver.
Excuse me.
Then again, I think after that, it might actually be Scott Pilgrim.
Do you think that's
the top 3?
Yeah.
For me, anyway, because I know a lot of people. I love Shaun of the Dead, but I don't know. I don't think zombies spoke to me as much as like everyone else seemed to.
I quite
Still
like
a great
zombies.
film. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, 28 Days Later is one of my favourite films.
Oh yeah. It's Danny Boyle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know. I keep forgetting that's Danny Boyle. I keep forgetting that's Danny Boyle. But like, I know I'll have to see that movie because I quite like zombie movies.
Oh, there's a thing to watch for that thingy. I fucking love 28 Days Later.
28 Days Later.
Yeah, it's such a good film.
Because I quite like zombie movies.
Yeah.
I quite enjoy them. Because I'll have to see. I'd love to see Dawn of the Dead, like the original.
I've never seen the originals.
No, I'd like to see the original Dawn of the Dead. I mean, the remake is now on YouTube, so like the Zack Snyder movie, so I can watch that, I guess. But yeah, like so it's probably up there. I mean, what films is it? How many films has he made so far? Like Edgar Wright, he's done.
Trying to go top of my head.
He's done Shaun of the Dead.
Yep.
Hot Fuzz.
3 for the trilogy.
Hot Fuzz and World's End. So that's like the first 3 films he's done. Was it then Scott Pilgrim?
It might have been. I'm just googling him now. Where's his IMDb credits?
His filmography.
Let's go with him as a director. Oh, IMDb on like thingy's crap.
Yeah, because that's like he's one director which I'd like to check out. I think.
Go from the start where we're going. All right, so yeah, that's spaced whatever. So Shaun the Dead.
Yeah.
Hot Fuzz.
Yeah.
Grindhouse. He's the director of.
Grindhouse.
Yeah.
All right. Never heard of that.
That's the thing that like Planet Terror and stuff like that are part of. I think called Don't. Well, if we go for majors anywhere, is his third one.
Which one?
If we go for majors, Scott Pilgrim would have been his third one, really.
Oh wow! Okay.
Hot Fuzz, then Scott Pilgrim, then The World's End.
Right.
Baby Driver.
Yeah.
Sparks Brothers, which I still haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
Last Night in Soho.
Oh wow! So he hasn't actually made that many films.
Yeah, just got a big name from him. He made Spaced. You ever seen the TV series Spaced?
I've not seen that. No.
That was late 90s.
Yeah.
Then I had what's he called? Shaun the Dead. What's he called? Shaun?
Simon Pegg.
Simon Pegg, yeah.
Simon Pegg, yeah. Simon Pegg's a great actor, to be fair. But I've not seen Last Night in Soho, and I've not seen World's End. So I'll have to like check those movies out. But because I know that like World's End is like the least well regarded out of his filmography, I think. Probably.
When you've got 3 bangers, one of them's going to be the worst.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
I really like it, and it's definitely the weakest out of the lot. But then again, one of them's going to be the weakest.
Well, I suppose. Well, yeah. I suppose. One of them has to be, and I think
he's yawning.
Oh goodness me! Sorry. The the whole thing about Last Night in Soho, yeah, I'll have to watch that as well.
That's been on my mind for a lot. I just haven't got around to doing it because I'm
No. Bloody what's his face, isn't it as well? Like
Matt Smith.
Matt Smith, yes, Matt Smith from The Crown, and The Doctor.
Morbius.
Morbius. Have you seen it?
God no.
No, neither have I. But I'm just enjoying the backlash. You know.
I mean, it's coming out soon in digitals without the summer of Morbius, like they wanted.
God, I know. And I've just been so enjoying.
I think when that comes out digital, we're both gonna have to watch it together, and my friend John and Lee watch it together.
Oh, a commentary.
Yeah,
a commentary
I
on
have
it.
a commentary and do a thingy on it as well.
That'd be really good.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll do a commentary of Morbius. Oh, fantastic! Can't wait for that.
So definitely got to talk through because I think it's hard when it's a film you know you're gonna like. You don't talk through it as much.
True. Yeah.
But I think coming to a shit film and just kind of egg it on.
Yeah. Because like I've heard no good things about it. Like
it's Morbin time.
It's like what?
It's Morbin time.
Morbin time. What is that?
I've seen that about. It's just
a thing that's come out about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's half the Morbius face, like half his like fucking vampire face. It just says it's Morbin time.
No, for God's sake. It's like, well, they're just doing the same thing with Venom.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Like, you know, like because apparently like Venom's meant to be not very good, but like it's like. But Venom still has like a fan base.
Yeah, and I think Venom 2 leaned into it, from what I heard.
Well, that it's not very good.
No, that they had fans of specific bits of like, yeah, fuck it, we're just going to lean into the absurdity.
Yeah, I suppose.
Which you may as well.
Well, apparently they wasted the character of Carnage as well, like in that movie, which is a shame because Carnage is Carnage is quite a unique character, really. I mean, he's quite like he's insane, like he's a proper serial killer.
Yeah. And
they just made him like every other villain apparently, you know, which. Fine, I guess. Woody fucking Harrelson as well, like as Carnage, which I find insane. You know, Andy Serkis directed that as well.
Yeah,
which I find crazy. Like I didn't know he directed films. You know what I mean?
He's been around long enough before he's like, I can direct it.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. I was gonna try and do my Gollum voice, but I can't even. Like, I don't think I've got the energy to do that. But no, I think yeah. So bringing it back to Scott Pilgrim, I think I think it still holds up as like a technical marvel in terms of its like. I think the music's great. I think the comedy is great.
Beck wrote a song for it. Beck wrote Ramona.
Yes, he did, didn't he? Yeah. Like and this is such a Beck movie as well. Yeah. Like, because Beck's so fucking weird.
And again, Edgar Wright directed Colours.
He did, yeah. So he must have like quite a good relationship with Beck.
Yeah.
It's such a shame that album Colours is not very good.
I only ever saw that single.
It's fine. The song is fine.
The music video is great, but
yeah, the music video is great.
But Beck's just one of these. It's a just odd mix of like. I mean, I've got Sex Laws on one of my playlists. I have it all the time.
Sex Laws is from the album Midnight Vultures. Is a tremendous record. Yeah. Like Midnight Vultures is wonderful. But like Beck's so strange because Beck started off really good and he's gotten tamer and tamer as like the years have gone by. I mean, like Morning Phase was really good because that was like Beck's like softer side, his folk side, which a lot of people like, and he got a Grammy for Album of the Year. When Kanye West like invaded the stage.
Oh God.
Yeah, because like that was a thing. Yeah, it was. I think it was like 2014 or 13 or something where Beck won Album of the Year for Morning Phase, but he was up against Beyonce or something like that. I think, or some other person like that. Some like bigger, like a much bigger artist. It might have been Adele or something, you know. So. But he won Best Album for Morning Phase. And he got up and got the Grammy, and then Kanye West walked on stage, was going to say something to him, turned around and went, and then like walked off, and then Beck went, come back. Went, no, come back on stage, come back on. And he was going.
If I'm gonna get hackled by Kenya, it's gonna be time.
Yeah, literally, he was going, come on, come back up. No, seriously, come back up and say something to me. And then he just went, that was incredible. And he went, but yeah, this album we made this literally in my kitchen, and I'm so glad that it's resonated with people. So yeah, but it was just such a strange way. And then afterwards, because like it was a protest for Kanye, because Kanye was like, Beck should not have won the award. But then what's his face? Beck was like, I think Kanye is a genius. I just want to do what he does. You know what I mean? And they're just being really nice about it. But Like, yeah, it's like that thing of like, if I'm gonna get heckled by anyone, it's
may as well go now. Yeah,
may as well be now. But like, Beck has always been like featured in like Edgar Wright's films. Like he was featured in Baby Driver.
Yes,
I think.
Deborah.
Deborah, yeah, like Debbie Deborah. You
Yeah.
know, that song was featured quite heavily in Baby Driver. You know, I'm thinking here, and I'm aware that I've not seen all of his films. I've not seen Last Night in Soho, and I've not seen all the way through World's End. But Baby Driver's probably his best film.
Oh yeah, it's my, like I said again, Hot Fuzz is special in my heart. But yeah, Baby Driver's like technically again editing. Like I think he used the same team. Actually, I think he uses the same team he has to do all his films.
Yeah.
I mean, Scott Pilgrim was great, and then you have
Baby
Driver.
Baby Driver is just, I enjoyed every second of it, and I thought this is such a great movie.
Who thinks of doing a shootout movie with fucking Focus?
I know.
With full yodeling.
I know. Hocus Pocus by Focus.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Hocus Pocus by Focus.
Yeah.
I always remember trying to figure out.
It's fucking brilliant. It's just so good, and like the whole like bell bottoms, like the opening sequence, man, is just fantastic. The soundtrack alone is just.
Oh yeah, I've got the soundtrack.
Yeah, the soundtrack's great. Like
that CD of it somewhere.
Yeah. I've got it on my phone somewhere, but like it's that is worth.
Oh, I forgot about that as well.
Oh, you got the Scott Pilgrim soundtrack as well. He's whipped out the CD, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, so like Crashing the Boys, Sex Bob-Ombs on here, T-Rex, Teenage Dream, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Rolling Stones, Beck, Plumtree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's a great soundtrack, and I think it like perfectly encapsulates the. Oh, there it is. There's Baby Driver as well. The Edgar Wright like section, obviously.
Yeah, with the Edgar Wright section of my CDs. Apparently.
Yes, that's fantastic, and of course Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
The man himself.
What was he say?
The balls on this kid.
Yeah, I was amazed by the balls on this kid.
I bet you were. Well, even the lead guy, like whatever his name is, like, I can't remember, but he was in no, it's not Aaron Edgerton. It's it's not Alden Ehrenreich either, because he's Han Solo, young Han Solo anyway. I can't remember his name, but he's in the remake of West Side. Ansel Elgort, that's it. He's in the remake of West Side Story.
Yeah.
And like he's been in none of the marketing for West Side Story because of like the controversy that's around him and stuff like that. But the film still got released.
Isn't it the same as what's his face? Actual cannibal.
Armie Hammer.
Yes, he wasn't advertised at all in Death on the Nile.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, because that's so funny. Because he's an actual cannibal, isn't he?
Apparently so. Yeah.
Apparently, yeah. That's
texted girls and told me how much he wanted to like eat them and stuff like that, and he may or may not actually eat human flesh. I don't know.
Holy shit! Like, that's incredible. God, that's something worth looking into, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's oh dear.
Yeah, but I think Ansel Elgort had stuff against him around about that time. He was abusive and stuff like that, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
It was something anyway.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing with it. So, like, you know, like, Baby Driver's like...
Because I remember saying, I was like, come on, will actors stop spoiling one of my favourite films?
I know. Well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I can still watch Baby Driver and sort of, like, get over, like, the fact that...
Yeah.
It's like, okay, it's Kevin Spacey, yes, but it's like, but does it change the fact that it's... Does it change the fact that it's probably Edgar Wright's best film?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
No.
And does it change the fact that Kevin Spacey gives a good performance? No, it doesn't, unfortunately. Yeah. It's like, unfortunately, the guy is a good actor. Unfortunately, you know, but he's also a bad dude. Okay, you know, that's another conversation for another day. But like, should it spoil art? No, I do think
he's been in the films he has been. He shouldn't be in any more films because he's a horrible person, but he's been in the films he has been.
Exactly. We shouldn't boycott these things, and we shouldn't like just like say, oh, we're no longer watching any film with Kevin Spacey in, and it's like,
which is a shame because most films I've liked
have Kevin Spacey in. Yeah, because the guy's a good actor, unfortunately, and it's like, you know, you can't ignore that, and you can't also, more importantly, ignore the hard work that other people did to make and put into those films.
Yeah,
you know, it's like it's a shame because I think there's one film that I don't know if I'll revisit, but I probably will. It's there's a film called Beyond the Sea, and Beyond the Sea is a film that was directed by Kevin Spacey, and also stars Kevin Spacey in the lead role. And that film is about Bobby Darin. And Bobby Darin is kind of the forgotten singer from like the Rat Pack era.
Yeah.
He was just as good as Frank Sinatra, arguably better. Just as good as Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr., like Dean Martin, all those guys. He was just as good, arguably if not better, than all of them. And he is often the forgotten one when it comes to this sort of thing. He was one of the greatest entertainers of his era. He wasn't meant to survive past his 15th birthday because he had rheumatic fever, and of course back then it was more or less a death sentence, really. And like his doctor had said to his mother, or his family, I should say, really, even with the best medical treatment in the world, we're not expecting this boy to live past his 15th birthday. And he knew that. Yeah. He got told, he overheard that. He knew that. And so what he decided to do was, I'm not going to let this define me. And he threw himself into being the greatest entertainer of his generation, or one of anyway. And he lived until he was 37, sorry. He died when he was 37 years old, which is still very, very young.
Yeah.
But, in his short life, he accomplished so much. He was an actor, he was a dancer, he was a comedian, he was a singer. He really was truly the all-round entertainer. He was a proper entertainer, and his music was just great. It had so much life to it and balls and stuff. Like he sang Mac the Knife.
Yeah.
And Dream Lover. And one of his most famous songs, Beyond the Sea. And Kevin Spacey was a huge fan of him, and he decided to make a film about him. And the film is really good. It it's flawed like most biopics, but it's quite creative in the way that it goes about it. But Kevin Spacey sings. He actually sings himself. He's not miming to Bobby Darin's voice. And Kevin Spacey can sing. He's really good. And all the music was taken from all of the sheet music of Bobby Darin's music, so all of it was played note for note.
Christ,
the actual original notes that
original.
Like exactly. Like so, it was all note for note the music that he played. The whole jumping from his boyhood to his adulthood as well, and the fact that they actually acknowledge the fantasies, because it's a musical. There's bits where like he's dancing down the street with full dance numbers and stuff. Like it's not just him on stage singing. It's like full street numbers, and it's a mixture of both. And then the boy, he's like, so I left home, and then the boy goes, wait a minute. He's like, what? We didn't go dancing down the street like that. You know what I mean? That's not how it happened. Like, and he was like, I know, it's a fantasy sequence. And he's like, but it's not real. And he's like, well, kid, forget real. He's like, memories are like moonbeams. You can do with them what you want. This is our story. We can tell it how we want. And I thought, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
It's really creative and unique. And I thought they're actually acknowledging the potential historical inaccuracies for the sake of telling a story.
Yeah.
And I thought, that's really cool. It's a charming, nice, good film, which you can tell was made with a lot of love and passion. It's just a shame that it was directed and starred Kevin Spacey in the lead role. And it's like, I don't know how I feel about that movie now. Like because I haven't watched it since. I haven't watched it in many years. But I do really enjoy that movie. And I think it's one of the better biopics which came out in recent memory. And I think it's a really beautiful tribute to one of the more forgotten entertainers of the past century. It's just a shame that it was Kevin Spacey who did it. You know what I mean? So maybe another film for Bobby Darin is due. Maybe I'll do it. You know, because I love Bobby Darin. He's fantastic. So if you haven't listened to any of his music, I would highly recommend it. It's tremendously enjoyable human being. Big supporter of Robert Kennedy as well, actually, and civil rights advocate as well. Great guy. He went out with Sandra Dee as well, the actress, and he was nominated for an Academy Award for best actor, best supporting actor.
Nice.
He didn't get it, but which he was very annoyed about. But yeah, it was good. So what was about Kevin Spacey? Yeah, that was the point I was making.
Kevin Spacey, yeah.
Kevin Spacey. It is what it is. You know, we just got to accept these things that, you know, there's some bad people in the world.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, but Scott Pilgrim. Is there anything that like you wanted to say more on like Scott Pilgrim?
I've kind of covered everything to talk about. I mean, most of the stuff what he's went over your head was all the game references in it.
Oh yeah!
Holy shit! There's so many game references.
Yeah, I was lost like completely. I was like, yeah, I'm sure that's Zelda or
like,
some shit.
Really, like some of them are really fucking obscure.
Yeah.
You know when he dies, he's in the desert.
Yes.
That's like one really weird scene of Final Fantasy VIII.
Really?
Yeah.
and yet it's there in the movie. Yeah. Oh wow, okay, that's cool.
Although I saw an underrated tweet the other day. Someone said like Scott Pilgrim's a poser because he says, "Oh look, I can do the bass line of Final Fantasy 2."
Right. Yeah.
But it's Final Fantasy 4.
Oh, was it really?
But it's only because at the time, for some reason, Final Fantasy 4 in Japan got put over in the US, and they named it Final Fantasy 2 because it didn't bother with the other ones.
Oh really?
So it's 2 technically.
Shit.
But it was funny to me just saying, oh yeah, he's paused, he doesn't know it's Final Fantasy 4 actually.
He doesn't know what he's talking about, the bastard.
Because they didn't get them games until a long time after.
Oh man. Like, yeah, I was like, yeah, sure, it's Final Fantasy 2. Yeah, of course it is. Yeah. Like,
Clash of Demon Heads again from the 80s.
Oh god, yeah, I know. But no, all the video game stuff like completely went over my head. Although like expertly done.
Oh yeah, I do like that most of the sound effects with like Sonic sound effects, like the rings and stuff. That
yes, yeah. And like I like how he earned currency, like the more he killed the X's.
Got more as the bosses went on.
Yeah. Well, exactly like the bosses, exactly. Yeah. I also loved, speaking of which, when Chris Evans appeared. When he came out of the trailer.
Oh, the Universal.
And the Universal theme plays.
Cracks his neck as the dung dung.
It's so funny. So funny.
The battles are great, like the first one with Patel where he does the musical and everyone's like, what the
It's
fuck?
a musical, yeah. Like he's the demon hipster chicks, yeah, and it's a Bollywood number. And I'm like, what is going on? But it's class. And it's like, and I also love that like you don't expect Scott Pilgrim to be good at fighting.
Yeah.
And yet he actually
he just comes out and fights and just that's it. It's just how it is.
It's just how it is. He just knows how to fight. Because this is a living video game. Yeah. You know, and
I think the creator just said, yeah, Canada's just like that when someone asks.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, this is Canada. This is what Canada's like. But what I also liked as well, which I just thought of there, which kind of like redeems itself. The film redeems itself a little bit in a sense. Is like at the beginning, when he picks up knives from a school. Oh God.
Yeah.
And Wallace goes, "You're too good for him." Like, run away right now. And I thought, yeah, she is. Like, I thought, yeah, of course. Like, everyone is so like that's the thing. It's like they do the groundwork. You know what I mean? It's like, but they don't stick the landing. That's what annoys me about it. It's like it's all there. You know, like where Wallace is like, yeah, like this guy's an asshole. Like, do not go out with him.
God, Wallace Wells. Definite show stealer. Kieran Culkin just made that.
Steals the show. Like, favourite character, absolutely. And I was like, how do you know about that? And it's just like, whip pan. He's like, he's on the phone to her right now. He's like, I just told her. I was like, you bastard, get away. Oh, I loved it. It was great. Yeah, I just loved it. And I loved how, like, when he's heckling the other band. It's so good. It's like,
this song's for you. We hate you. Please die.
Yeah.
Yes, love this song.
Love this song. Great, thank you. And there's like, then they play through it. They ram through it like 30 seconds. And it's like, it's not a race, guys. It's so funny. It's like, it's just so well written.
I do like that when the band's playing and Steven's freaking out. He's like, what the fuck are we going to do? And he's just like thinking it's all just subtitles. It's like, stop staring, you're freaking me out.
Yeah, literally. He was such a stress. I identified with him.
I thought the band stuff would really identify with
you. Oh, I did, yeah. Because, like, it's that pre-stage thing, especially if you're not the opening band, then if you're like third in or something like that, then like the band before you was really good. You immediately have like this existential crisis about like, oh my god, so like my music isn't actually that good, and we're going to be terrible, and like we're going to be like the weakest band here, and like I can immediately like, or like, oh my god, they're just doing our act, and now we're going to go on and do the same thing. You know, I've had those moments before, and it is funny. It's like it's funny, and it's real, you know. But you've got to have those members of the band, like the drummer, who's just like, yeah, let's just get on with it, you know, let's just play the fucking thing. And it's like, yeah, just get on with it, just do it.
You ever had a battle of the bands with actual battle? When it gets you a
No,
stage.
I've never done that. And as well as I am the bass player
Yep.
in the band as well, so I identified with the bass battle as well, which I loved.
Oh yeah, well he's playing it all. You see his D's coming out to D.
Yeah, it's all in drop D. Yeah, I love that. It's so good. And that's another thing as well. Brandon Routh, you're absolutely a better bass player. Like I was like, dude, Scott, you're just playing root notes, mate. Like you don't know what you're doing. Like but like he's actually doing riffs and stuff. I'm like, because he's a better bass player.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the bass standoff. That probably your favorite.
It was my favorite bit of the movie. Yeah, it was great. Because I was like, Brandon Routh is a better bass player, absolutely. So he absolutely should have won, and he did.
God, imagine a film that has Captain Marvel, Captain America, Superman,
and the Atom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, is there any other? He also plays the Human Torch, Chris Evans.
Yes.
so many characters in this movie. And I say I'd like to see Kieran Culkin in more stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, apparently he's going to be in a film this year.
All right.
I think, but I'd love to see him in more stuff because I think he is a tremendous actor.
Considering, I think it's like the first thing I seen him in was Home Alone.
Yeah.
To that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and but he's such a great comedic actor.
Yeah.
His timing is perfect, and his delivery is even better.
It's that is Scott there? You know what? Just left. You just see
he dives out the window. I love that. That was so funny. The visual comedy is just wonderful. It's like, you know what? He just left. So funny. So funny. It's just like little moments like that, like quick moments like that. I thought were fantastic. And the subtlety a little bit of like, what I thought they were 7 kisses. No, they're 7 X's. Like they're 7 evil X's, and I'm like, oh my god, yes, of course, there it is. It's right there. I like, but I mean, like, the X's themselves, they all, like I said before, they all got like their moments to shine.
Yeah.
I'd like to see a bit more from the twins. I feel like the twins were like
they're the only ones who didn't really have a backstory.
No,
everyone else had like a little backstory moment,
and they were just there.
Yeah,
and it's like she went out with twins. It's like, but like, okay, twins is a very clever way to condense 2 into 1. Basically.
Well, the twins in that.
Are the twins in there? Yeah. Well, there you go. It works still. It works. But it's a very it's a very convenient plot device, I think, in film land. But no, Scott Pilgrim, overall, great movie. I think great movie. The plot, it's like the character arc, the romance side of it, which I feel like was the heart of the movie, the core of the movie. I feel like was a bit of a letdown. Could have been handled a lot better.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the ending doesn't stick it for me. Really, it's odd. It doesn't make any sense why he would be rewarded with Ramona.
Yeah.
Makes no sense. And that kind of spoils it a little bit for me. That being said, overall though, from a comedy point of view, fantastic. From a character point of view, again, fantastic. In certain ways.
Yeah.
In terms of like, the 7 evil X's and like the supporting cast really shine in this movie.
Yeah.
And like visually,
great.
Visually, it's an absolute treat.
Oh yeah.
And I think Edgar Wright really outdid himself with this one. It's probably it's up there in his most visually ambitious films.
Yeah.
And I'm yet to see a film that's really captured or like try to emulate it or try to copy it in some way, which speaks to its uniqueness. And also, 2010, man, God,
what a time!
What a time! What an era! What a time for fashion! God, it's just the 2000s, like the beginning of the 21st century, really was a terrible time for fashion, wasn't it?
I mean, that's legit how I dressed.
Oh,
shirts,
like bright green shirts.
Like gaming shirts, bright green shirts. If it had the Zelda logo on it, there you go.
Yeah.
Fucking sweatbands. I used to wear sweatbands.
Yeah.
I didn't even go to the gym. I did sweatbands.
God.
That is the fashion.
And I'm all happy. I'm all the happier for it that it existed. But are you gonna ask me the question?
Yeah. Well, I think you've already answered anyway. But you're gonna. I mean, I guess another way to say it now, because you've already said it. Would you recommend it?
I would recommend it. I would recommend Scott Pilgrim versus the World. I don't know if I'd ever. I mean, put it this way. I don't know if I'm actively looking to revisit it because I feel like my opinion on it is quite conclusive. But would I watch it again? Absolutely. Of course I would. I think it's an absolute blast of a movie. I think it's great from an entertainment point of view. I think it's one of Edgar Wright's better films. It's just I feel like from a story point of view, could have been a lot better, and I feel like there's other movies that do it better, which are worth watching.
Yeah.
But would I recommend Scott Pilgrim versus the World? Absolutely. Yeah, I really would. It'll be interesting to see how this film ages with time. But no, I would absolutely recommend it. I would. Good time, man.
Yeah.
Good time and good vibes.
So we'll go from next week. I mean, you've ever seen Freaky Friday? Or know the concept?
I have seen Freaky Friday.
I mean,
yes.
Imagine if we woke up and we were in each other's body.
In our bodies.
Yeah, that'd be strange.
That would be very strange.
I mean, we'll only find out next week, really.
Oh my god.